What's up guys, welcome back to another video. This thing is awesome. I've been driving it everywhere even though it's freaking hot as. The thing hasn't got AC gas, but I've been driving it with the windows down. I've been driving it everywhere. It just sounds so good and it's fun to drive. Now I didn't think this would be an issue, but some people in the comments are giving me a little bit of BM talking about my automatic transmission that I got down here. An auto is going to let you run a better time, guys, and it's cheaper in a swap like this. And I've got like 3 other cars that are manual. I've got a car making more power than this and it's manual. Anyway, friends and family, welcome back to another video working on this goddamn project car. The biggest problem that we've had since making this thing make 300 Oh, there's neighbors. The biggest problem that we've had with this car since making 303 kilowatts, 777 newton meters of torque at the wheels is the stopping power. We can't stop. I literally just did an engine swap and I didn't touch the suspension, I didn't touch the brakes. I just slapped the engine in there, got on the dyno, did a tune, and yeah, we have no stopping power. So luckily today we'll be installing some Protex goodies. I'm not gonna lift the other boxes up, but we do have some special ceramic brake pads. So shout out to John. I met John through Tristan at my first ever drag event with the EF Falcon. So we took this thing to Heathcote. We ran a time. The thing ran a 16-second quarter mile. John brought his Kia. He ran a good time and he was running these pads. These should give us all the stopping power, hopefully with the small brakes that the E-Series have. For now, they're gonna be better than whatever we've got. So, oh my God, really keen to install these. We'll finally have some stopping power and we can stop with the amount of power this thing makes. No wonder. Usually, you have some material here. Have a look. That's basically no material. There's nothing left, man. There's no pad left. And these rotors look rusty AF. Doesn't look too hard to get these calipers off, so we're gonna just pull them off really quick and see what we can do with the new stuff, which I'll show you in a sec. Almost see the rivets that hold in the material to the pad itself. That's next level. Yeah, we had no brakes, none. And there's a massive lip on the rotor as well. When in doubt, hammer it out. Do I have to remove this nut? No way. Oh. Well, if you're doing brakes on an EL/EF Falcon, then you will have to take the wheel bearing apart in order to get the rotor off. How good is that? That's a first for me. I definitely want to do like a B-Series upgrade on this thing. That's next level, but the grease looks like it's in actually really good condition. It's still red, it's not black. I mean, it's been sealed off really nicely. We're just gonna pack it up with some more grease and then throw the new one on and should be good. It gets better. For some reason, there's like a seal behind the rotor that you need to replace. I don't think any other rotor manufacturer would supply a new seal, but yeah, we don't have a seal for the new rotor that we got here. So we're gonna have to go to Repco or something, but there's a seal right here. Look at that. I just took it out of the old one just because I was curious to see how it would fit in the new one. But yeah, we gotta replace this axle seal or whatever it's called to seal against the hub. And just like that, we are back. With, of course, the power of editing. Yeah, look at that. 2 new seals. So let's press these in and see how we go. Well, I decided to put the camera down, get to work, got the rotor on, and everything's on there good. Little bit of a process trying to get that front bearing bolt on. Luckily the Protex brakes and rotors come with instructions, so it tells you that you need to tighten the nut while turning the rotor 30 newton meters, then back it off half a turn, then tighten it again, and then put the pin in. And that's exactly what I've done, and it's seemed to be working pretty good. So we're going to get around to the other side. I'm actually going to show you how to do it on the other side, and then I need to do the rear too. There are 2 13mm bolts holding the caliper in. Remove those. Grab yourself a pry bar, pry from the bottom, pry from the top, pry from the bottom again, and they are out. The next thing you got to do is remove the pads from the caliper, and you sort of got to slide them out. The front one just comes out like that. You pull it down. Of course, that has absolutely no material. Look at that. And this one just pops out of the piston, so you pull it towards you, just like that. There you go. And again, no material. Now, you do need a special tool. You want one of these. These are caliper compressors. Because we need to fit some thicker brake pads in there, like brand new ones, we need to compress the caliper. So these are really cheap. You can get them on eBay for around 10 bucks. We're gonna keep turning this until the piston down here goes all the way down into the caliper. Now, there's not much leverage on this tool, unfortunately. So what I like to use is a 3/8 extension. And I just use the length of it as leverage. So guys, as you can see now, the caliper piston is all the way back in its housing, as you can see. Now we'll rest that to the side for a bit. What we're gonna do now is take this little cap off. There it is. Now there's a little split pin, and what we're gonna do is straighten that up. There we go. 28mm socket. Oh, that was on by hand. You can literally take it off by hand. There's like this little metal insert that you just sort of pry out. It only goes in one way, so just be careful, don't force it. Sort of slide the rotor to get it off. As you can see, there's like a slit in it. Little slit. And then the bearing comes out as well. Try not to drop this if you want to reuse it, but it's a cheap enough part that you can replace, but I don't have any in stock, so I'm gonna replace it. And it comes off. Oh. So here is the new rotor. Looking fresh. Have a suss. Even comes with the inner bits of the rotor, the bearing, so you don't have to do any pressing. And I've already used obviously one side, but here are the brake pads as well, which you just press in. It's literally just the opposite of taking them out, so I'm not going to show that. But I'll show you pressing in the seal that of course you need to do as well, which is a Ford thing. Now, I have been told on most other cars, Protex brake rotors come with a coating, and you don't need to actually clean anything off because they're coated. You just chuck them on, install them, and then drive the car. However, I think it's a little bit different with these ones because they house a bearing, so there has to be some sort of like lubricant and grease in there, so we will have to clean these. But yeah, Protex pads and rotors usually come with a coating, and you don't actually need to clean them at all, but good practice anyway. There's the part number if you guys are curious, from Repco. So this is a little bit tricky with the years of experience of installing like bearings like this on cars. Usually it's good to have a good dollop of lubricant. So we're going to lube up where the seal's going to go. Of course, using the grease that's going to be used to lubricate this bearing as well. The seal is all installed now. You don't want to press the seal so it lines up with the edge. You want to actually press it till it bottoms out, as per the instructions. I know that's going to be a little bit weird to some of you guys because when you usually press in seals, you want to keep pressing them in until they're level with what they are going into. However, you want to press these all the way down to the bottom. And to finish off the rest of the brake install, what you got to do is you have to pretty much just do everything in reverse. I think I've explained everything properly. We also did the back brakes as well, so it's actually been like probably like an hour since I last picked up the camera, but brakes are installed. So we have the rear brakes. These have the coating. They're more like a standard brake. None of that weird axle nonsense, half stub axle nonsense. Everything on the front is done as well. We might have to do a bit of a bed-in procedure, I think. I'll have to ask some people first, but yeah, look at that. Massive shout out to Protex. There's a really peculiar noise coming from the engine. It sounds like a power steering pump. I don't know. It is what it is. If it blows up, it blows up. New engine. I don't know. I'm over it at this point, but I almost cooked it and drove straight out onto the street because I had no brakes. I put my foot down and I didn't realize that the pads need to actually move a little bit because we pressed the calipers all the way out, so almost cooked it. But yeah, we're gonna go for a little test drive. I am gonna bed the brakes in because, I don't know, I just feel like it's the right thing to do. Apparently you don't have to bed them in, but I'm gonna bed them in anyway. I'm gonna do my little bed-in procedure that I do with all my other cars, so. All right, so I have this like little procedure. What I do is go to about 60 kilometers an hour, then I brake moderately, and I do that 4 times. And then you want to make sure that every time you're not coming to a complete stop, because if you're holding the brakes constantly on, you're going to put heat into the pads and they're not going to bed in properly. And then once you've done that, we do a couple of stops. We go to 100 kilometers an hour, and then we stop down to about 15 kilometers an hour pretty aggressively, and that should really put a nice groove in the rotor, and that should bed in the pad correctly. But again, I don't know if you 100% need to do this with the Protex pads, but I'm gonna do it anyway. We're getting rid of that coating that's currently applied to the brakes. I'm not liking how the BTR is shifting currently. It's not shifting very nicely. Couple of hard brakes, but yeah, the BTR is not shifting as nicely as I'd like. It's not banging into gears, which means that Naoki's BTR might eventually start slipping. Like, I just shifted in third just then and that didn't feel that good. I don't know if I'm used to the power or it's just slower, but something feels a little bit wrong. Maybe that sounds engine related. I don't know. But yeah, brakes are bedded in. They feel pretty good. Pedal feel isn't amazing because I just think the calipers are pretty bad, but another thing, the brakes are definitely an upgrade, so hell yeah. Oh wow. That is so much different. I think I was too worried about the noises of the engine, so I wasn't really concentrating on the braking performance, but oh wow, we need tires now because yeah, the braking power is limited by the boldy tires. Finally, okay, that's sick. So we actually have some stopping power now. That's mad. That's astronomical actually. Wow. All right, yeah, cut it. Brakes have been bedded in, everything's ready to go. It's actually a few days in the future because I always forget to conclude the videos on the day, but we're having a few problems with this thing. It's not shifting as hard as I'd like it to shift, and it's making some weird sounds, and the suspension's really boaty, and it's, yeah, fixing one thing at a time, one step at a time. The brakes are now dialed. Brakes are really good. I'm super happy with that actually. One thing I really want to do in this thing is run a surge because currently, I am risking the engine by flooring it when the fuel tank is under half full, because if there is any sort of slush, because if the fuel slushes to one side and then the pump can't keep up and just puts air through the system, then we might lose an injector and we might run lean and then blow this thing up. So yeah, I do want to dial that in later down the line too and get a surge, but for now, the thing runs pretty good, pretty happy with it. I just went for a drive in that thing and I was going past some kids and they were actually subscribers, some young kids that I didn't think would be watching my channel, like probably about 15, 16, I reckon. And they were like, and they all brought their phones out and said that they watched my videos, which is pretty funny. But cool that the young generation is still into cars, I guess. All right, well, that's about it for today's video. Brakes are installed, the thing stops now. Let's get it on the drag strip. Need to buy some tires, buy some wheels, lower the thing. Yeah, it should be fun. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Catch ya. What the f